The year was 1954. With their sturdy, broken-down microphones, they were headed for greatness in the American West. Jack and Ron in the morning. If you don't laugh like this, you're probably normal.
The following entertainment special contains mature subject matter. Parents may consider some of the program content unsuitable for children. Parental discretion is advised.
It's the bad boys of radio. Here's Jack and Ron.
Hey, what's going on? Here we are, ready to go at Othello's Italian Restaurant, Edmond, Oklahoma, right there at 1 South Broadway. You know, Broadway and Main, we're right here each and every Monday, usually at 1 o'clock, but today we had a scheduling conflict again, so now we're here at noon today.
You know, I will say this. I kind of like this time.
I do too. I was going to pass that along. I was going to throw that out there.
Yeah,
Richard, how do you feel about this time? Maybe the noon thing will work for all of us?
Yeah, there are a lot of folks maybe out for lunch or just taking a break or whatever.
Right.
Perfect time for them because at 1 o'clock a lot of times folks are getting back.
Yeah,
from
this
lunch.
way, especially if you bring your lunch in a brown bag to the office, you can sit there at your desk in the nice, cool air conditioning and watch the show live from Othello's each and every week right here with Jack and Ron on the Jack and Ron page, on my page, the YouTube page. On YouTube, I believe it's The Jack and Ron Show. And, of course, we're on Spotify and iHeartMedia and all that other crap. So we're here in Edmond, but there's also an Othello's in Norman on Campus Corner, and you need to check that out. By the way, it's hotter than hell. Let's see, hotter than a monkey's tail after a gas attack. That's all I can say.
Jeez.
100 degrees today here in Oklahoma City.
I'll take your word for that.
Well, we got to go ahead and thank Richard, our illustrious producer and what have you. He kind of runs all the gear, sets it all up, and does a good job in doing so. And thanks to the good folks with Flash Hauler. We always say Uber moves people. Flash Hauler moves merchandise.
Hey, let them do the heavy work for you.
And they're now the game changer in the moving industry. Yes. We have more information about them coming up. And also, for that final journey in life, there's also Howard Harris. And you know more about them than I do.
Oh, Howard Harris Funeral Services, my friend. You know, during that time of great grief and tragedy, it pays to have things ahead of time already lined out.
Yep.
That's what Howard Harris can do for you and their funeral services. And I'll tell you more about it in just a little bit because the part I like about it, they have a licensed funeral director and insurance counselor.
Wow.
That's Audrey Howard Harris. And you can reach her. I'm going to give you that phone number now. I'm going to give it to you again. 405-682-8. Make that 1883. I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah, tell me again because I got a little discombobbled with that.
Well, 405-682-1883. And you just ask for it and tell her Jack and Ron sent you.
That's 405-682-1883.
That's it, my friend.
I got it.
Get you some peace of mind.
I got it right now. I'm good. By the way, we've got a website, jackandron.com. Have you ever gone to the website? Have you thought to yourself when you're driving down the road in the car, like, man, the next stop I make, I'm going to go ahead and go to the Jack and Ron website at jackandron.com. Plus, I might call them on their hotline at area 405-509-5030. That's 405-509-5030.
You
Give
mean
us
to
a
tell
shout.
me they can call right now?
Now.
And we can put them on the air for them to view or at least express their views
Sure.
on certain subjects, maybe on us, maybe on politics, maybe on anything, especially when you hear what we're going to talk about a little bit later on this morning.
Yeah, you wanna call, and that number again is 405-509 and
5030.
5030.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so feel free to call. Love to have you, and glad you're a part of this incredible #1 video podcast in America from Othello's Italian Restaurant. I had dinner here Saturday night, man. It was so good, and Tammy was playing the violin, right here on the lower level, because they do have 2 levels in this restaurant. You can go upstairs in a couple different areas and also be down here in the bar area like we are right now.
I call it the necking level.
It is
you,
nice,
You
yeah.
have privacy up there, and you can
But
talk.
we were down here on the lower level right by Tammy as she played the violin. It was great. You need to come to Othello sometime. Check it out. It's a very nice, warm, comforting, and casual atmosphere. All right, we got to get to Too Tough Trivia to kick things off.
All right, now, usually you guys make some good guesses, and this one will be because you're both manly men. You'll get this one right off the bat.
Both me and Richard going to give it a shot.
You got it made. This is easy when it's so hot outside. Who's the first person to win the Heisman Trophy? Twice.
First person to win it twice?
Twice.
It's somebody from OU, isn't it?
No. There was a bad somebody.
I was thinking Joe Washington, but I guess not.
This cat in
a-
college
can you give us an
terrorized
era?
people. Pardon
Can you
me?
give us like an era? Like what years roughly?
Was he a
He
running
was
back
like-
or
See, well,
quarterback?
I
Within
feel,
20 years.
I feel like I'm being interrogated.
Was he a running back, quarterback, or was he a defensive player?
He was a running back.
Running back.
You know, but a Heisman usually is running backs or quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I think that's wrong for the offensive linemen and the whole defense.
Right.
They never get a chance to really shine, and they take the tough and hard hits.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I think it's wrong. But anyway, 70s
1970s.
and the 70s.
It wasn't OJ. Or was it OJ?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
No, I just said, hey, we'll
get to it.
Yeah,
At the end of the podcast, we'll get the answer.
the first person to win the Heisman Trophy
In the
twice.
70s.
In the 70s. But he won it twice.
Twice.
So it had to been back to back.
That's right. It was back to back. He was showed out
Let me
one
ask you
year
this,
and
let me
came
ask
back
you
and
this.
showed out the next year too.
Can you give us the college? Is that too much?
Oh, that's way
Okay,
too much.
okay. All right.
As
But you
soon
say
as
he
I
was-
say
so
that,
he was
you'd know it instantly.
He's a running back in the 70s and
Yeah.
won it back to back.
Back to back.
B2B. Back to back, baby.
First person to ever do that.
Wow.
Is he the only person? Because no one else is.
I don't think anybody
Yeah.
else has done that.
Yeah.
You know,
Huh? Okay.
that there were a lot of individuals angry that this person won it twice because they felt, well, what about my candidate? What about this? What
Yeah,
about
maybe they felt somebody else was just as deserving.
Yeah, but apparently not.
Well, there you go. Now, is that my phone or yours?
Oh, that's yours.
I turned my volume down prior to time we went on the air, but sometimes the phones play games. Anyway,
Yeah, I hate this because once I turn it down and I have that little switch where you can deaden everything,
Yeah.
I forget to turn it back
Me
on.
too.
And then all of a sudden, why didn't you call me back?
Why didn't you-
answer? Why didn't you do
Yeah.
it? I said, hey.
why didn't you respond to my text? Okay, so Too Tough Trivia. It's laid out. It's from the 70s. A running back, obviously, I assume.
Yes.
Maybe not a running back.
Uh-huh.
Won the Heisman twice. Now, I know there's going to be 100 people right now looking it up on the internet, which I'm sure it's available, but don't share it with us. Richard and I are trying to use our own, mental ability and acuity. Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
manly ability.
And with
manly
these two,
ability.
you know they're working overtime.
Yes, much so. All right, now that we got Too Tough Trivia out of the way, time for asinine trivia to kick things off with Richard, our producer. We hit him every week with 3 questions. Asinine trivia is so easy, it's asinine.
He's ready. Look at him, man. His eyes are just
Yep.
sparkling.
He is fired up and ready to go, and
Sparkling
we are
is
too.
crying, one of the two.
Here we go. Richard, question 1 with asinine trivia. What product is Starbucks best known for?
Coffee.
Got it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say high prices, but go ahead.
Hey,
That too.
yeah.
Question number 2. What is the name of the Italian restaurant in which Jack and Ron do their podcast?
Othello.
Oh,
Yeah,
Othello's is
there
right.
you go.
In Edmond.
In Edmond, yeah.
Oh, see?
Bonus points.
You get extra for that. I was
Yeah.
about to say you get extra for that.
Good job. Question number 3, Richard. Name the 2 guys who have won more broadcast awards than any other broadcasters in Oklahoma, including the recent 2023 award presented by Radio's Got Talent, a national competition in which these guys beat out hundreds of broadcasters around the country and, of course, including Oklahoma, and who also enjoy sitting in their hot tub filled with cottage cheese while sipping on bottles of Yahoo chocolate beverage and singing Don't Break My Heart, My Achy Breaky Heart. Oh, and who also perform the #1 video podcast in America.
Jack and Ron.
You got it. That's your answer.
Jack and Ron.
Another winner on Asinine Trivia.
You know, it doesn't matter exactly when we're on an hour earlier today as we were last week, but this guy, he comes in ready every single time.
He's fired up.
Yeah.
I was panicking today, though.
Hitting on all cylinders. Doing a good job. Very good. I got a couple of quickies for you. I thought this was interesting. Everybody wants to live longer. They want to live a healthier life. If you're going to live to be a ripe old age, you like to be healthy, active, cognizant, have a good mind.
Yeah, when you said ripe, that was at a ripe old age.
Well, here's the deal. A lot of these secrets to living a long life aren't necessarily what you would think. This is a little different. This really has to do with the Chinese. A new study in China says the single most important contributor to healthy aging and longevity is mental well-being and also a strong connection to cheese consumption. So
cheese. Are you talking about cheese, the food, or CHI, that cheese?
No, cheese, the food.
Okay.
You know, like Gouda, Swiss,
Limburger.
Limburger. It could be mozzarella. Is that it? Mozzarella and
Roquefort.
Roquefort, yeah. American cheese, cheddar cheese.
You know,
queso.
I always get a little concerned when you have all these different types of cheese and it has to do with fermented dairy product. It's just like, what are you doing?
Apparently, they believe in China, or at least a number of people there, say you need to live longer by having a happy mental well-being and eating plenty of cheese.
Now, I always thought that cheese stopped you up.
Well, that can do that. I mean, it can cause you to have a tad of constipation. So maybe you need to take a probiotic at the same time. I don't know. I mean,
see, right away you started layering stuff up there. Like, here we go now. Yeah. Don't forget about this. Don't forget about that.
Yeah. By the way, if you're watching the podcast right now, this video podcast, #1 video podcast in America, go ahead and share it with all of your friends around the country, around the world, or just around the block. Let them know we're here today. We had to start a little earlier than normal. The typical time is 1.
Yeah.
But we've been talking now, maybe doing it every week at noon.
Yeah,
so.
that's what I'm thinking. You know, we do it so when we get finished up, we skip the hottest part of the day. We're not out running around and stuff like. I mean, now you can go ahead and let us know about that. Your thoughts on, hey, an hour earlier, it makes it easier for you to listen. Not so many people. Maybe you're out and about. You know, I think it's a good thing. And we're going to take a vote on it a little bit later on.
Yeah, but I think really overall, if the only 3 people in this room right now were to vote, I think we'd all raise our hand and say, yeah, let's do it at 12 noon, if I'm not mistaken. Unless somebody wants to object to that, I think that's the case.
Oh, there's 3 of us? Oh, that'll be tough, especially when they're already outvoted.
All right, I got another one for you. It has to do with jobs and trying to get people into the workforce and making them happy in the workforce.
Oh, get them off the street corners, please.
Please, yeah.
Oh, this weekend, not interrupting you, man, but this weekend, geez.
They're everywhere.
They doubled up. I was at 122nd and Penn, and they have the usual group of panhandlers.
Oh, yeah.
But then there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
They got
6 new groups.
They got the backups that come off the bench.
Yeah. And they were out there. And these guys obviously don't know that you're not supposed to, go out in the street between the cars and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's wrong.
They were out there between the cars. And I'm saying,
somebody's got to teach them.
And I said, if you're an elderly person or a woman or somebody who just doesn't want to be bothered, and all of a sudden somebody's coming up to your vehicle and they're trying to talk to you, it's like, no, that's not.
That frightens a lot of elderly people, I might add. Yeah.
Hey, not only elderly.
Yeah.
You never know. The person will come up to you and then open the door and say, get out of your car.
Think if you're like a 17-year-old girl, for instance, you've just recently started driving. Here you are in your vehicle, and you got some guy who's about 45, 50, looking as grungy as all hell because he hadn't had a bath in 6 weeks. He comes up to your vehicle begging for money. What in the hell are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're scared to death.
And it's a bad thing, too, Lord have mercy. It's a bad thing, too, because used to be a T-Mobile right there at 122nd and Penn. It's closed down. And so you have a regular group of 2 or 3 who are stretched out there on the side, and they're sleeping during the day, and you go by early in the morning, they're sleeping there, and it's like, do something. There are signs up and down the street. Now hiring. 90%
of the time you see somebody standing on a street corner panhandling, asking for money. 100 feet behind him is a restaurant, fast food or whatever, with a sign that says help wanted. Oh, they don't want that job, man. It's much better to just stand there and collect money from people who are sucked into their evil way.
Yeah, scaring the heck out of individuals.
So,
now, see,
and
somebody's going to get popped.
Here's
what I tell you, man.
Here's the deal, too. I've got friends who own restaurants in Midtown and down around Meridian and, like Meridian and MacArthur and down in that area. They've closed them down. They've shut them down. Several restaurants in Midtown have shut down simply because of the homeless problem. These people would start walking in the restaurant, just grab food off people's plate and their table and just run off with it. What are you going to do? You can't shoot them, but the problem is, and the police can't patrol it. Well, I mean, you could.
Okay.
But I mean, in all reality, they just shut the restaurants down, and it's happened all over the city. So fortunately, Mayor Holt is trying to work on some other programs to get that taken care of. We'll see how that goes.
I mean, and especially for young people, what is the limit? 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, something like that down in Bricktown. You better have your butt out of there and someplace else. And that was promoted as such a happy place for people to come down and enjoy local Oklahoma talent or whatever, restaurants, movies, all of that. And now there are people that are walking around looking over their shoulders and everything. That's not fun. That's not enjoyable.
Well, the reason I brought it up is because I was going to talk about jobs and people working, and what companies are doing now as an incentive to get people to come back to work and want to work. New added perks for some people, according to a new report. Fancy coffee, not just black coffee out of a machine or whatever, but fancy coffee. They're offering yoga classes for some of the different jobs. DJ parties, where I guess some guy comes in at lunch, spins records and whatever. And now they have something new to dangle. They're giving employees their own desk. Because their own desk,
Give me a break.
Over the past 5 years, companies have transitioned to what they call hot desking. Hot desking setups where workers grab a workspace when they show up. And you get whatever space it is, the earlier you get there, you get that space. And then they move around throughout the day from one workspace to another.
Oh, so like a pop-up workspace.
Yeah, it's kind of like musical workspace.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, they're now offering people their own desk. The idea that people are sick of bouncing around using various work surfaces, they want their own spot. So now a big incentive is to give people a dedicated desk, a way to win them over and get them coming back to the office again. What do you think of that, Ron?
It's a sad state of affairs when you have to start tricking people to come
to work.
Yeah, that's.
Come on back to work, y'all.
How about this day? How about a hot desk for you? No. You know what? There are enough people out there, and especially with school being out, we're going to see, I feel, a lot more young people, at these various restaurants that, and the restaurants are still hiring. These different places still hiring. And then when kids go back to school, they will be in need of even more employees. Do yourself a favor. We're talking about those who can really go out and work instead of out there hustling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go get a job. Maybe something with benefits in case you get sick or your family members get sick or what have you. Just you gotta stick your head in the real world, man.
I've got to tell you about a guy I would run into, and I frequently would run into this guy. Had kind of long gray hair and big old beard, and I'd see him
Santa?
He looked kind of like Santa. He'd stand on a street corner near Memorial and Penn and a couple other areas. I'd run into him. He'd be over there at 122nd and I-35, and so I'd start seeing him in the convenience store. He'd get the cash from people, then he'd go buy cigarettes and beer. And I thought, well, I'm not going to give you money for that. And I asked him, I said, well, now, where do you live? Do you live in your vehicle? Oh, no, man, I got a trailer, small little trailer down at an RV park right off I-35. And he had a Chevy Bronco that he drove. It wasn't a brand new one. It wasn't like he had, $80,000 vehicle or anything. But he had that. And then I run into him quite frequently. And one day, recently, I run into him. I said, so how's it going out there? He goes, man, I'll tell you what, because he considers it a job. His actual job is panhandling. He said, not so bad today. A little tough out there on the job. On the job? That's what he told me. A little tough out there on the job today. I made maybe $65 in the first 2 hours this morning, and I'll go back out after lunch. Because, he has to take a lunch break. By God, when you work for a living, you got to have a lunch break. And I swear to God, He completely treats it as a real job, standing on a street corner, collecting cash from people. And, of course, it's tax-free. Nobody's charging him any taxes.
Yeah, I was about to say, they did a study on that, and there were some larger cities, of course, but some of them were making $60,000 a year tax-free. That $60,000 is that's theirs.
Yeah,
And-
which
and
if they were paying taxes on money,
Jeez.
that if you cleared $60,000, you're probably earning a paycheck of maybe $80,000 in order to clear 60. So
Yeah.
that's a pretty hefty little chunk of change. Let's see, I got some audio to get to, but I also wanted to throw these out there. I picked up a list of things that were reported that you should never say to a cop when the cop pulls you over. You ever have a cop pull you over and he goes, "You know why I pulled you over? Have any idea why I pulled you over?" Well, a couple of things you shouldn't say.
No, I don't know why. I'm scratching my head too, man. What's up?
So the cop says, "You have any idea why you pulled you over?" Don't say, "Can you repeat the question? I'm really drunk." Not a good idea. They also say, when the cop says, "You have any idea why I pulled you over?" and you respond with, "Because I make more money than you." Not a good idea. I think I have one more for you. Cop pulls you over. "You have any idea why I pulled you over?" Guy says, "You're jealous. I actually finished high school." These are not good things to
Jeez.
say.
No,
I have
no.
more of those on the list, but I'm afraid to use them because afraid to share those. Some people might actually.
It's very interesting you bring that up. A little bit later on when we travel out to Hollywood, we're going to take another look at Justin Timberlake and why so many stars, I mean big-time stars, are coming out in his defense. Why? We'll tell you in just a bit.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that's
Can't wait to find out. Meanwhile, we have some audio to get to, if I'm not mistaken. First clip of the day is a restaurant. Last week, we had audio of a restaurant that banned people under the age of 30, women under 30, men under 35. Remember that?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd agree with that, man.
I know. Well, now we got a restaurant in Indianapolis. They're closing after the owners were inundated with a backlash after they banned kids under 5 they banned the kids for being too unsanitary. The owners came under fire after citing unsanitary conditions like dirty diapers on the tables and women's breasts.
Wait a minute, on the table?
Yeah, well, some people aren't smart. They put the kid up there and change his dirty diaper on the table.
Jeez.
Also, they
Take him
complained
to the
about
restroom or something.
these
Jeez.
restaurant owners complained about women's breasts being uncovered during breastfeeding, which they considered unsanitary. Anyway,
Now, who are these idiots?
We're gonna hear from
objecting
them.
for that.
these are the owners, Tana and Gary Bartlett, talking about the issues at their restaurant.
This is not Chuck E. Cheese. This wasn't made for babies. That's the sad truth.
But neither of us have ever eaten at a restaurant where someone would openly expose a breast in public to feed. Only when in our own restaurant has this happened. One would think and expect common decency and respect for others would be the norm.
We had to make the call to close on Sunday because I had received some death threats.
They've received death
Death
threats.
threats over a breast?
I mean, I don't.
Come on.
I have seen women breastfeed their children, whether it was at the airport, a restaurant, a public place. They usually have a little. cover
There
up
you
while they
go.
do, yeah.
All you
I
see
never
is the
thought of
baby
it-
up against the
Yeah.
chest. You don't see anything else.
I never thought of it as unsanitary, ever.
I never thought of it as unsightly.
Well, there you have it. All right. I believe we got to take a break before we come back. Normally, see, we got email, and Roy, is Roy with us today? Roy, the movie guy, is going to jump on here in a little bit. But first, we have to take a quick commercial break. Back in a flash. Hang on.
Hey Jack, BK, I need some wings. Are you guys up there?
Affirmative. Your backup is cloud-based. It's all on the cloud nowadays.
That's funny. But you guys have the wings?
Winger, Jack. Winger. Hey, they had a couple of big hits back in the 80s, remember? Winger, big hair.
Great wings don't just fall from the sky. They come from Louie's, where we're preparing food fresh daily. Come try one of our great new sandwiches. Or wings with any of 7 delicious sauces. Louie's, we're in your neighborhood.
We've got this down to a science. Over. Yeah, we're just not up here winging it.
Hey, Jack, BK, I need some wings.
Hey, Al, I thought we were meeting at Othello's.
Hey, Jack, I am at Othello's.
Well, I'm looking around and I don't see you. Well, wait, are you at Othello's in Edmond?
No, I'm at Othello's in Campus Corner in Norman.
Oh, great. Well, fortunately, both Othello's have great Italian food.
They sure do, and I'm having the baked ziti.
Ooh, I'm having chicken marsala.
Let's continue with the meeting.
Yeah, sure thing, over the phone, but I need one thing.
What's that?
Your credit card number, because you're buying. Othello's Italian Restaurant on Campus Corner in Norman and in downtown Edmond.
Ported from the seller's location to yours? Flash hauler it. Have office furniture to move across town? Flash hauler it. You bought it online, and now you need to haul that big couch. Flash hauler it. Bought a washer or dryer and need to transport it from the seller's location to yours? Flash hauler it. Have office furniture to move across town? Flash hauler it. Car breakdown and you need a tow? Flash hauler it. Anytime you need furniture or appliances moved or need a tow, Flash hauler it. Haul it, tow it, deliver it with Flash hauler. Download the Flash hauler app free. Do it now. Flash hauler. What a great company that is, and a great company that's been sponsoring this program, this #1 video podcast in America for about the past 4 or 5 years. Lily is the head of this organization, and they started out small, and man, they have expanded and grown like you wouldn't believe, and they are the game changers in the moving industry. And if you have a senior in your life, be it an uncle, an aunt, a grandparent, or whoever, they're looking to downsize, they want to move into an assisted living or an adult senior living center.
Or just get the kids out of the house, please.
Yeah, and they don't have to maintain and don't have to mow the yard and all that. They have, and I'm talking about they meaning Flash hauler, they have the floor plans for every senior center in the entire state of Oklahoma. They have merged and integrated with all these senior centers. I'm not talking about 1, 2, or 10, every one of them. And they have the floor plan for each and every one of them. And they are more than happy to work with you and give you a flat rate price on moving from one location to another.
Yeah, you don't have to worry anymore about having all your stuff delivered, and then all of a sudden, that stuff that's in the living room, it goes in the bedroom. That stuff over there, that goes in the back, because they know exactly where you want all your stuff, and that's where they put it, where you want it.
There you go, Flash hauler. And even, and let me go back a step or two. They started out by just moving washer, dryer, refrigerator, that sort of thing. And the cool thing is they have drivers and trucks all over the state. So if you needed to move a washer and dryer from Enid to Oklahoma City, contact Flash hauler. They can get it done like in a matter of hours. Flash hauler. Go to the website, FLASHOLR.com. FLASHOLR.com. FlashHauler.com. They will take care of you.
Yeah, let them do the heavy work for you.
Yeah, definitely. Also want to mention our good friends at Howard Harris.
That's right. Howard Harris Funeral Services. You've heard of, that's a funeral home. It's a funeral. No, we're talking about funeral services because you can go ahead and have your final journey the way that you want it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a pre-need funeral package. There are several plans that are pre-plans, as a matter of fact, that are offered. You will have a skilled counselor to help you choose the right plan, service customizations, and dignified memorial services with cremation. Just that simple. Licensed funeral director and insurance counselor. Boy, she's sharp. Howard Harris is at your service, my friend. Call her at 405-682-1883. That's 405-682-1883. I think I'll call her myself. And they'll also offer will and estate planning.
Yeah, and you can get peace of mind with advanced funeral planning. It's so important. I mean, think about it. If you should pass and all of a sudden your relatives and those close to you are stuck with all the planning and trying to figure it out, and, of course, the financial side, this is the way to go. Howard Harris will make sure your wishes are followed with cremation, traditional memorial services, everything customized to your need.
Hey, make sure that your life is celebrated the way you want with elite professionalism and distinction. Call licensed funeral director and insurance counselor Audrey Howard Harris at 405-682-1883. The plans for your future final journey can begin today. By the way, cremation packages, $11.88, starting at $11.88. Sounds like a good deal to me.
Really is. All right. Keep that in mind, and keep in mind that we generally at this time of day do email. We answer questions from people who have problems. They have circumstances that surround their lives that they can't figure out, and they come to the experts, Jack and Ron, for the answer. But I believe today we have something else.
Yes, as a matter of fact, it's a question that I think we've asked ourselves on more than one occasion, and we're talking about UFOs. Yes, folks, I saw one just a few days ago.
Where was this?
I was on my patio.
Uh-huh.
And I saw one plane with the, with the red and the blue and the green and all of that. And I saw another plane that seemed to be a little bit lower, same in opposite direction. Looks like, if they were at the same level, they would have hit
head on?
Yeah.
Wow.
But one looked a little smaller. So I said it must be flying a little higher. Well, as they crossed, different levels crossed, the lower plane's lights went out.
Gone.
Yeah, and I'm saying, whoa, what? I said, I know they didn't crash or anything. What happened? I saw the image of something moving across the sky in exactly the same position that the other aircraft was. And I watched it, and it got lighter and lighter until it just faded away. And I'm standing there, and I said, I know, I hadn't been drinking or anything.
Sure that gummy hadn't just kicked in?
No.
Did you run inside afterwards?
No, everything was fine.
Okay. So you didn't panic?
No, I didn't panic or anything like that. That is
pictures with your phone?
That's the
Did
second.
you have your phone with you?
Second, no, I didn't have my phone. It's always that way.
Was this a dream?
No, it wasn't a dream. That's the second UFO I've seen from my patio. I think I told you about the other one.
I remember that.
The
Yeah,
big giant orange one that looked like it had smoke on the inside. It was huge, and
I like to leave in your house.
Yeah. Well,
how do you feel in the mornings when you
after
fine. These experiences?
Oh, I feel fine.
You feel like maybe you've been abducted one night, not know it.
Your legs feel numb.
I'll put it that way. They brought me back.
They brought you back.
That's how my luck is.
You find like an incision on your rectum or something?
Not the last time I looked, but it's just one of those things where people, just like you guys are doing, you're having fun, and that's cool.
Yeah, people always give you.
But it's real. It actually happened, and I was thinking, well, maybe somebody else saw something as well. But it was the weirdest thing. The lights went out, and you could still see something dark moving across the sky until it faded. It was unreal. I really hate I was by myself.
Yeah.
I really do. You know what? I think I will start keeping my camera with me.
You gotta keep
Good idea, man.
At all times, man.
Got to have photographic proof for most of the folks.
And
we
to
believe.
Yeah.
We believe.
We believe. I've been there. I've seen them. Ron knows.
And
I've seen a UFO.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. I see why a lot of people don't. They're not real happy about just coming out and saying, "Hey, guess what I saw?" Because then folks, you're crazy or whatever. Speaking of crazy, coming up this Thursday, we have the presidential debate.
Yeah, we do.
Which I think should be real crazy. I'm taking bets on who's going to lose it first.
Well, here's the deal. This is what I found. This is what I heard. I guess is what Trump said yesterday at one of his rallies. He said, I may go out there and lose on purpose, which covers his ass. If he actually does lose, he can come back and go, I told you I was going to lose on purpose.
Oh,
so
yeah.
This is what he's pulled.
Yeah,
Trump.
A lot of his aides have been saying the same thing. Well, you're cutting the mic, and you can have a bad host, a bad host who can make somebody look bad, and they were talking about it, and they said, well, they're getting all of, this is rigged. I wanted to be on this side of the stage, not there. This is rigged. I'm not through talking. This is rigged. The moderator, they're not being fair. This is, it's like, well, why do it, dude? If everything is going to be rigged, why go ahead and give yourself some more talking points to gripe and bitch about?
And here seems to me to be the simple way to make it all work. Allow the network. I don't care if you think, well, CNN is more left-sided than right-sided, and they're not going to give them the right-thinking or conservative member a chance. Put all that aside. Let them just go ahead and set the rules, like they said. Mute the mics.
Yep.
Yeah. Stop the yelling. Stop talking over each other, all that crap. Let's just set it up and have the questions laid out with the moderator. Simply ask a question of candidate 1, maybe ask the same question of candidate 2, get the answer, and move on to the next.
Now, the one thing that I do like about this coming up, and I don't know how far they're going to take it, the moderators will have the opportunity to fact check.
Oh.
Fact check. Like, you said this, that's not right, that's wrong, because, now that I think would be great to be able to fact check these candidates, and so they won't be blowing a bunch of crap at us.
And last comment on this whole deal, I like the idea of no audience.
Oh,
Yeah, I like the idea of no audience. That's a good thing. Okay, we got to check in with Roy. Roy, the movie guy, who gives us kind of an overview. What's going on? What's hot at the box office? Hello, Roy.
Thank you, guys. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Now let's talk some box office numbers and what's opening up this weekend at the box office. Coming in at number 5 was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes with $3.6 million. The Garfield movie came in at number 4 with $3.6 million. The Bike Riders at number 3 with $10 million. Bad Boys Ride or Die at number 2 with $18.8 million. And the number 1 movie, the second weekend in a row, is Inside Out 2 with $100 million at the box office. So far for 2024, domestically, this is the number 1 movie of 2024 with $355.2 million. And as of worldwide, Inside Out 2 has now tallied $724.4 million. It looks to be the first billion-dollar movie of the year. Now let's talk about what's opening up this weekend at the box office. We have one title. We have the prequel series, A Quiet Place, Day 1, starring Lupita Nyong'o, Joseph Quinn, Alex Wolff, and Djimon Hounsou. When New York City comes under attack from an alien invasion, a woman and other survivors try to find a way to safety. They soon learn that they must remain absolutely silent as the mysterious creatures are drawn to the slightest sound. Rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour and 39 minutes long. And that's a look at what's opening up this weekend at the box office. Back to you guys in the studio.
Man, that's great. And here's the number 1 movie is animated, just right for kids and what have you. And I'm just thinking,
Inside Out 2?
Yeah. Did you, I don't know if you had a chance to see one or not.
I never did.
But,
No.
I'll tell you.
I'm not big on animated.
Well, I'm not big. There's certain animation.
I like Beavis and Butthead, but I mean,
Yeah, and you like Felix the Cat too. But anyway, but at the same time, man, it's one of those situations where I think it's perfect summer fare for young people.
Yeah.
And I think it's great. $100 million again. And the next movie is The Ride or Die was 16, 18 million.
Something like that, yeah.
So
big difference.
Oh yeah, well, folks finally want to see a movie that they don't have to worry about a lot of profanity, a lot of nudity. You save that for your parents.
I was going to say, you just talked me out of going. No profanity, no nudity?
Yeah.
All right. We got to get to some more audio. This is interesting. A young woman who does stunts for social media. She does a lot of social media stunts. She set out to become the first person to complete a full marathon inside a Taco Bell on a treadmill. Now, here's her name is Madison. Here she is talking about how long it took her to complete a marathon on a treadmill at Taco Bell.
I want to be the first person in history to do a marathon at Taco Bell. I brought my own treadmill and filled my water bottle up with Baja Blast. I kept eating yummy food and drinking my Baja Blast while I blast my way to the finish line. After 10 hours and 3 minutes, 26.3 miles, and 58,000 steps, I am extremely proud to say that I am the first person in history to do a marathon at Taco Bell.
Way to go, Madison.
Yeah.
Wow.
Completed a marathon.
Did she pump Baja Blast enough?
What I'm trying to figure out, how do you get a treadmill into Taco Bell? I mean,
same way you get it into your house.
Well, I mean, usually it takes 3 or 4 people. A treadmills are pretty heavy, as you know.
I mean, I guess it's a good promotional thing for Taco Bell.
Very cool. Yeah.
Bob should think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you reheal your leg, you do a marathon.
Yeah, when I get my leg fixed, my foot, my torn Achilles, we'll put a treadmill here at Othello's, and I'll come in and eat pasta and
make your leg go out again.
Yeah.
No. I would suggest you let somebody young and youthful do that.
Maybe we do put you on the row machine.
Yeah, I could do the rowing machine. Yeah. I'm good at
back
that.
muscles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drink beer and pasta while you're doing it.
You're really trying to make him just go down that road, aren't you, man?
I think we have something here.
I think you got some. I think I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Because I was here Saturday night and I had beer and pasta.
There you go.
Yeah.
Put your bill on the road. You burning calories too?
Yeah. In fact, I had Saturday night. Oh God, here at Othello's, I had the meat ravioli, with an extra meatball.
Ooh,
And the red sauce.
Oh, you high-hatting it, aren't you?
Man, it was good. Let me tell you, my loving wife had rigatoni with garlic butter sauce.
That sounds good.
So good. And we both had a adult beverage. It was good. And of course they
What's your adult beverage of choice when you visit?
when I
Othello's?
come to Othello's, it's generally a Corona with a glass and a lime.
Can't beat that. That's
No,
classic.
so refreshing in this hot weather. And of course, they always bring you the complimentary bread with the oils. And oh, man, so good. All right, we got to move on. I believe it's time for news of the I'll Be Damned. We ready for this, guys?
Bring it.
All right, here we go. News of the I'll Be Damned. What do I got here today? Oh, good news for the Waffle House servers. They're getting a raise. If you work at Waffle House, hey, I bet you're thrilled. They're getting a raise to $3 an hour. That's before tips. The minimum wage for tipped employees in, restaurants across the country is $2.13. A lot of people don't realize that's what a server earns, $2.13, and then they're expected to, through the performance of their service, collect big tips to bring them up to about $7.25 an hour.
Well, that's nice. I
work hard.
I do it a different
do,
way.
man.
I say it a different way. They are paid to take crap sometimes from
Especially
different-
Waffle House.
Yeah.
From different folks. Well, hell, I guess you don't want a tip, huh? I asked for another glass of water. I guess you don't want it, do you? And it's like, you know what? These people are working their butts off, and they got to put up with that type of insanity. Yeah, I got some hot syrup for you right over your head.
$2.13 an hour is the general minimum wage for servers, and then their actual earnings are calculated based on all the tips. And generally, they should be making at least $7.25 an hour.
At least.
Yeah, in many cases, they make more than that. But anyway, Waffle House is up to $3 an hour. But get this, police in South Carolina are looking for a customer who showed up at Waffle House in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, drunk. The man was drinking.
Surprise.
I would have never expected to see somebody drunk at a Waffle House. The man was drinking, being belligerent. Then he pulled out a cigar, started smoking it. A female server confronted him and snatched the cigar right out of his hand and took it behind the counter. The customer, the cigar smoker, freaked out, hopped over the booth, followed the employee to the back of the restaurant. He pulled out a knife. He punched her. And after she fell to the floor, he kicked her in the head.
Dang.
Welcome to Waffle House. Thankfully, he didn't cut her with the knife. But someone who was with the guy tried to break it up, and they got out, leaving blood behind the counter. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They didn't get out. They got cut because he was trying to stop the guy with the knife, and he got cut. Anyway, the person left with the assailant, and so apparently they weren't too badly injured. No word on the server's condition, and it doesn't sound like the police have arrested anybody.
Well,
but that's what went
did they
down.
not have a license tag on the vehicle they left or walked away on, or the
You
bike they
wonder
rode
about-
off
You
on?
wonder
or what?
about all these things. It's like you wonder about the lady in the Tesla here in Oklahoma City, allegedly abducted by three guys near the coffee shop on 178th and Western or MacArthur, and she said she had $250,000 in her car that they stole, and she said it was her life savings. And my question is, I'm going in a million directions. Why do you have your life savings in your car? And $250,000 in cash
at Starbucks?
Well, yeah, no, it wasn't a Starbucks. It was some other coffee shop. But she was
the one across the street. Yeah, there's one.
178th and MacArthur. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, supposedly they abduct her. Well, now the cops were able to track one of the abductors down through some photo recognition thing in the Tesla. They got him, and now they're hoping he will help reveal who the other two guys were. Meanwhile, the woman claims, after they stole her $250,000 cash, that they also made her wire $10,000 from her phone, her account, to their account.
Was she an old lady?
No, she was like 42.
42.
Nice looking lady, too.
$250,000 in savings at 42. Not bad. If they wanted that money, they should have been romancing her.
And how in the world did they know she had $250,000? Did they follow her to the bank? Where did she get 200? There are so many questions. I can't wait till the final results of the investigation come
that's
out.
a lot of money to have in savings at that particular age.
It's a lot of money to have in your car.
Unless you have, that too.
I don't know anybody.
That's a lot of money to have in your car.
Nobody, I have not, I don't know about you, and I know a lot of people who over the years have earned some pretty good money. I don't know anybody who's ever carried $250,000 cash in their vehicle.
Yeah, you're the
Ever.
closest that I know that
Especially
could,
after
that
just
could
getting
do that, man. So
Especially
that's
after
it.
just getting scammed $10,000.
I just don't understand the whole thing, man. But anyway, they're
Things that
conducting.
make you go, huh?
Hopefully, make you go home. They're going to conduct a full investigation, and I want to find out the results.
Oh, yeah.
This whole thing sounds a little queer to me.
Yeah. Now, if they can't find this other guy, and they get this guy, they say, well, you owe this money. You better sell your house, your car, and everything else because she needs to be reimbursed for this money that she can't prove she really had.
How do you prove you had it when it's cash?
Yeah.
And it's all gone.
That's
all
it.
right. We got to get to the sleazy, trashy showbiz report.
Well, let's get to it, shall we?
Yeah.
Julie Chrisley, remember the Chrisleys? They went to
yeah.
jail. Well, her sentence for bank fraud and tax evasion has now been thrown out. They're going to take another look at this. I'm saying by the summer, she'll be out. She'll be out and about. I don't know what the deal was, what type of attorney they had that couldn't have brought this up before they were formally sentenced last time. But now she's had that conviction thrown out. Good for you. Bill Belichick causing a lot of folks to look at him. He has a new girlfriend. She's 24 years old.
Whoa, good for you, Bill.
And
how old is Bill?
A former cheerleader.
Yeah.
What is that, Bill? 70, 80?
How old is Bill Belichick?
I think he's 40 years.
Is there a way for you to look that up real quick, Richard? How old is Bill Belichick?
I think 40 years.
He's got to be he's got to be at least 55.
Oh, I think
maybe older than that.
Yeah, I think a little bit older
Bill
than
Belichick.
And she just loved him to death.
He's got it.
72.
He's 72 and she's 24. Who do you think you are,
She's
Mick
23.
Jagger?
Yeah, she's
Who do you think
23.
you are, Leo DiCaprio? Come on, man.
Good. Remember when
I gotta
we were
hand it to
laughing
you,
at
though,
Tony?
man.
When we were laughing at Tony Randall when he was in his 70s and married this young lady, and then they had a child.
Two eventually, yeah.
And then he died.
He died before those kids got to kindergarten.
Yeah, he was still changing diapers, man.
He was 76.
Yeah.
His girlfriend at the time was 25. Or he married her, I guess. She was 24, 25. He was 76. They have a couple kids. He drops dead before the kids make it to kindergarten.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what.
But they got enough money.
He left them quite the bank account.
Quite the estate.
Dave Grohl is causing a lot of stir with Taylor Swift's accusing her that she may not be singing live for all of her concert. And,
lip singing?
Yeah, and so she went out on stage and said, hey, this band, everything is live. This band plays for 3.5 hours. Shut up.
That's a lot of playing, man.
Man.
Also, and I do like Dave Grohl. He's a hell of a player.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'd go ahead and take on the number one singer on the number one tour in the country right now saying, she's not doing that. She's not doing
Well,
anyway.
especially when look at the boyfriend she's got.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Dave wants to mess with that guy.
I don't think so either. Justin Timberlake has a lot of people coming to his aid as far as that big drunk driving deal he had. As a matter of fact, they went, there's a fly that's going around here that's really bothering me.
He loves you today. He's like, I've been waiting to see Ron.
Yeah. Don't love me that hard.
Anyway, coming to his aid.
That supporting him.
I heard De Niro spoke on his behalf.
Yeah, and a
Billy
lot
Joel.
of it has to do because the martini, the bartender where he had that martini, and before he left, says he had one martini.
And that's what he told the cop too. He said, "I had one martini."
One martini, and then he, maybe he just doesn't drive very well. But
he only slid through a stop sign. I mean, how many times have we pulled up to a stop sign, kind of made what they call a California stop,
a floating stop,
right? And so that's what they got him for. But said he, but of course he didn't take the breathalyzer test.
No, it was a good thing for him too because now they have to come up and prove everything. He's it's not like I'll take a driver's test. Walk which way? On what line? Walk on what line?
Yeah.
And now those folks are coming out. And most of them, I think you'll see that, most of them.
Justin's making money. He's on tour.
Yeah. But it's not that he's got the publicity and the other stars are coming out. And it's like, I sort of agree with you. It's not that big a deal. You went to jail, sure. You stayed overnight. No, they'll
Maybe
add,
Free room and board.
they'll add to your street cred.
Crimea River.
He got a tat there while he was in jail
Oh.
that night.
Well, Prince kept a big secret. A lot of you may have heard about it, that he had a vault in his basement, and they opened the vault, and there were hundreds
Of dead bodies?
No, of music.
Oh, yeah.
Hundreds
I
of
knew
pieces of music that no one's ever heard of and no one's ever played. And they thought he was doing all these concerts because, either ego or he needed money. They checked it out. Prince had $100 million. So he did
So he
all
probably
right.
didn't need much money.
No, he didn't need any. Kevin Costner says he will not be returning to Yellowstone. Don't look for him. Sean Penn says he never hit Madonna with a baseball bat, as was accused. And U.S. Olympic teams bringing their own air conditioners because Paris has done away with AC.
Wow.
They're trying to make it environmentally sound.
They're trying to be green.
Yeah, so
Oh,
all of a
nice.
sudden you better bring your own air conditioner. And and lying about growing up poor. Finally, there are enough people that have been fact-checking, and you have a lot of these stars. I came up with my own bootstraps, and these are some that are lying their butts off. They didn't grow up poor. Kid Rock, Drake, Ice Cube, and Taylor Swift.
I never thought Taylor Swift grew up poor.
No.
I mean, by the time she was 16, 17, she was already had a record deal making money. I mean, so if she did grow up poor, it was when she was whatever.
Well,
10 years old.
She had her own
We were
guitar.
all poor at 10, I'll tell you.
Yeah, she has her own guitar. She had her own guitar at that point.
Yeah.
If you were poor, you can't afford a guitar.
No.
Hey, that's
And
your
he-
Hollywood update, by
And even
the way.
if you could afford a guitar, you couldn't afford the strings for it. All right, we got to get to some more audio. We got another piece of audio. This is one of our Jack and Ron retros. During our many years of doing the morning show on 98.9 KISS FM and taking that station from worst to first, which we did, and delivering the type of ratings that radio station has never seen since, we would often feature our own Jack and Ron version of the old TV show, Leave It to Beaver. Well, in our delusionary version of the show, Beaver's school teacher, Miss Landers, was always portrayed as a homewrecker as she tried to repeatedly move in on Beaver's dad.
She was hot. She was so hot.
Ward Cleaver. Well, somehow she was trying to eliminate Beaver's mom from the equation. Well, here then is one of those big episodes, Jack and Ron's Leave It to Beaver.
Gee, Dad, I feel kind of creepy.
Beef? What is that?
My teacher, Miss Landers, says school's coming up quick and I need to start preparing for my 4th time around in the 3rd grade. Miss Landers says she can see me moving on to the next grade once I get more tutoring.
You know what, Beef, let me say this. It's amazing, even though it's summer, how you keep in close touch with Miss Landers. I mean, it's like it's almost summer school for you.
Miss Landers says in order for me to move on to the next grade, Dad, you have to spend more time getting up to speed with my subjects with Miss Landers. She says if you come to her house more often, she can tutor you on how to tutor me. Gee, Dad, that sounds kind of double the work. Wouldn't it be easier for Miss Landers just to tutor me? Oh, by the way, Dad, Miss Landers says, since it's so close to school time, you should come over to her place at least 3 times a week to learn how to tutor me. She said you should bring some Patron and not that cheap rot gut you brought last time, whatever that means. Miss Landers also said you need to be smarter than Drew Peterson and Scott Peterson when it comes to making that move. Miss Landers says those guys were stupid in how they planned their future. Miss Landers says she has some info that she got off the internet about disposing of all evidence, whatever that means. And Miss Landers says if everything goes well, Miss Landers says if everything goes well, I'll graduate to the 4th grade next year, and she'll be moving all her belongings into our house and her clothes into Mom's closet. Gee, Dad, where's Mom going to put her clothes? Dad, Miss Landers says I need to... Gee, Dad, Miss Landers says I need to start writing something called an obituary for Mom, whatever that is. Gee, Dad...
You know, as much as you can remember stuff, Beef, you should be getting straight A's in school. You don't forget anything.
Gee, Dad. Gee, Dad. Why is my brother Wally following the Jonas Brothers around the country on tour? And why does Wally... And why does my brother Wally have a pair of leather chaps? We don't even own a horse. Dad, I'm hungry for stewed carrots and applesauce. Can we go get something to eat?
You know, I just realized something, B. You've been listening. You don't know crap about anything, do you?
Leave it to Beaver.
That
Good stuff.
show would still be on the air right now if they had taken our interpretation of it and aired it. But, you know, who knows?
So be it.
Yeah.
We got to get to the dumbass joke of the day. We got three very cheesy jokes. We have Ron pick one of the cheesy jokes, which, again, means Ron gets to pick his cheese. 3 jokes today, Ron. Number 1, the golfer. Number 2, the wife. Number 3, the courtroom. Again, the golfer, the wife, the courtroom.
I think this is so easy, as hot as it is outside. And, of course, you look who won the big tournament yesterday. Let's talk about the golf, man.
All right, the golf. A guy named Tim decided to tie the knot with his longtime girlfriend one evening after the honeymoon. He was organizing his golf equipment. His wife standing there nearby watching him. After a while, she said...
Is that what he calls it?
His golf equipment? Yeah. He's got everything, all the clubs in the bag, everything. She's standing there watching him, and after a while she says, "Gee, Tim, I've been thinking now that we're married, maybe it's time you quit golfing. You spend so much time on the course. You could probably get a good price for those golf clubs." Tim gets a horrified look on his face, and his wife says, what's wrong? He goes, "Well, for a minute there, you were beginning to sound like my ex-wife." And she screams, "Ex-wife? I didn't know you were married before." He says, "I wasn't."
Oh.
Oh, boy.
You want another one real quick?
Yeah.
Here's another one.
With some karma like that.
A wife got so mad at her husband, she packed his bags, told him to get out. And as he walked out the door, she yelled, "I hope you die a long, slow, painful death." He turned around and said, "Oh, so you want me to stay?"
Whoa.
Hey. Okay, you want one last one? Husband and wife, custody court. They're in custody court over the kids. Judge looks at the ex-wife and says to her, "Why do you think you deserve custody of the child?" Ex-wife says, "Well, I brought him into this world, so I should have custody of him." The judge says, "That's a pretty good explanation." Then he says to the ex-husband, "Why do you think you deserve custody of the child?" And the guy thought for a moment and said to the judge, "Look, if I put money into a Pepsi machine and a Pepsi comes out, is it mine or the machine's?"
Ooh.
Is it mine or the machine's?
A lot of relationship advice
you get it?
jokes today, huh?
Yeah, very good. Very good. I'm glad you picked up on that. All right. I think we have to do Tri-Bond
Lord
and then
have
get
mercy.
to Too Tough Trivia to wrap this up. Tri-Bond. Last week, we gave you these 3 words, and I know you guys got the answer for this one. This was last week. I made it as easy as possible. A 3-legged dog with...
Bell.
You got it. Bell was the answer. Let me give you the 3 words.
I had that same answer, and you dirty dog.
That's why I said it.
Yeah, I know you jumped out there. Okay, anyway, go
Well, let me
ahead,
give you the
man.
3 words again.
Yeah.
Door, school, dinner.
Uh-huh.
And the word was bell.
Bell.
Yeah. Simple enough.
Our producer's pretty
You gotta be
sharp.
quicker than that.
Yeah.
And again, this week I've given you another one. I'm giving it
Okay.
to you. You have 7 days to think of the answer, but this one's as easy as it can all get out because, a 3-legged dog with no tail and an eye patch could get this. Pickle, whiskey, cracker. That's easy. Pickle, whiskey, cracker.
Pickle,
I think I got it.
whiskey,
Cracker. Well, we'll give the answer next week.
cracker.
Yeah, and I know you guys got it.
Always funny.
I made it simple. All right. So next week, we'll come back 7 days from now. You'll have a chance to give us the answer. All right. We got to get to Too Tough Trivia to wrap this thing up.
All right. So far, no one's been able to give us the right answer. You checked it out.
Yeah, no.
Richard, nothing. All right. Well, the question. The first person to win the Heisman Trophy twice.
Running back.
Dan
in the
Marino.
70s.
What now?
In the 70s. QB.
70s.
No, not
74,
QB,
74, 75.
Running back.
Wait, it was a running back, not a quarterback. So I said Marino. That's wrong.
That is right. Marino was a quarterback.
Mm-hmm. So, nope, not Marino.
Uh-huh. Now, here's the clue that will it'll just
Is
go
it from
off
Ohio?
in your head. Say what?
It
It's
wasn't
from Ohio
Walter-
State?
Ohio
It was from Ohio State?
That was Ohio State.
Crud. What was his name?
Walter Payton?
Nope.
No, he didn't go to
No.
Ohio State.
Oh, what was his name?
Well, let's see. I've got 5-10 seconds. I'm going to let you stew on that.
Crud. I don't know.
Who was it?
I can't remember his name. I just remember.
Archie Griffin.
Archie Griffin. Yeah.
Archie Griffin.
A real sports aficionado would have gotten that.
Yeah.
We're frauds.
Yeah. But here's the deal.
We are
how well did he do once he went to the pros?
Trash.
Yeah, he didn't do that.
Didn't he do well as a coach or something later on, or am I wrong?
That's the only time he was on the football field after that as a coach. So
there
that
you
was
go.
that. We will have another one for you next week as well.
All right, we got to wrap this thing up and get out of here. Thanks again to our good friends at Flash Holler for doing such a good job of supporting this show. Be sure to check them out, Flash Holler, FLASHOLR.com, flashholler.com. Anytime you need to move anything, trucks and drivers all over the city, you can usually have them ready to go within an hour or two.
All right. And also, don't forget about Howard Harris Funeral Services. Make sure that your life is celebrated the way you want, with professionalism and distinction. You can call licensed funeral director and insurance counselor Audrey Howard Harris at 405-682-1883. The plans for your future final journey can begin today, my friend. And that's what you want. I hate to see families arguing and fighting over, she promised me this. Well, he said I could have that. No,
yeah.
We'll get rid of all of that. You check her out, would you?
He told me he was going to give me that leather whip. All right. Well, anyway, you can get it all figured
Cross your butt. Yeah.
I'd also want to thank the great folks here, Bob, Tammy, Nancy, Jen, the people at Othello's, for allowing us to come in each and every week, totally disrupt this place. Othello's Italian Restaurant, a location right here in Edmond at 1 South Broadway, also a location in Norman on Campus Corner, open daily at 4 p.m. Check out the great Italian food.
You know, and something, we've been down here on the first floor for so long, and I'm looking at all these empty chairs. We need to talk really about having a semi-studio audience in here. They'll be over there, and I don't know, Bob can go ahead and sell a few drinks, whatever.
We'll see what we'll run that up the flagpole.
Yeah, I'm thinking it would be
see how far that goes.
Yeah.
All right.
Sit right there, Bob. You'll make money. Come on.
Meanwhile, you got to do what you do. Do it like Jack and Ron. Be the best at what you do. Be like Jack and Ron. Give it 110, 120, 130% effort. Like Jack and Ron. Go give it hell.
Bye-bye, everybody.